Cool. There we go. All right, Kim, you want to get started with your
Yes,
intro?
so Maya and I are presenting today on charting with AI. Kim Riley, I'm a dietitian and CDCES here in the Sunshine State of Florida. And yeah, I mean, I'll get into more of it later, but that's who I am and Maya.
Yes. Good morning, everybody. My name is Maya. I'm obviously a registered dietitian and owner at Southwest Dietitian Group. We're in Phoenix, Arizona. And yeah, I'm just to preface with Kim's going to get us started with a really great PowerPoint as a high level overview of some of the AI features that she's put together. And then we're going to do some demos and answer some questions. So just high level, this is very informal for us today because Kim and I are both, we're all dietitians. We're not experts in AI, but we have integrated it into our practice, and our employees are using it. And we found it to be extremely beneficial. So please consider this just something that's very informal and something that we're sharing with you. And obviously we'll answer questions to the best of our ability. So we're definitely not experts, and we're just a fellow dietitians using an AI tool that are finding it helpful. So Kim is going to go into what we'll go over in the next 30-ish minutes or so. Is Kim's going to go into some of the key features with AI charting, some of the main benefits, considerations, things to think about when you're considering different AI platforms and models for the charting itself, some of the risks that we want to start thinking about, and then lastly, some of the technology and operation challenges that we've seen bringing it into our practice as well. Again, just things that we're sharing. And then lastly, we'll finish off with both demoing our screens and sharing the tool that we use with you. I think we have some templates that we've been using in our practice that we're happy to share with you as well. And then we'll finish off by answering some questions.
Awesome. All right. Am I set up for screen share?
You should be. Yeah. Let me know if you can.
Uh,
I never disable it. So.
Got it. Perfect. All right, let me put it in mode. So let's see. One second. Just want to make sure it's in presentation mode. Okay. Can you see that okay?
Yeah, it says overview of AI in healthcare.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, so like Maya said, this is an overview. We're not tech people. We're just kind of, sharing some stuff that we've been using. So the definition and scope of AI, I mean, AI in healthcare, it's a wide range of technologies and, could simulate human intelligence, including machine learning, natural language processing, and robotics, a lot of things, even in more high level stuff to improve diagnosis, treatment, and patient outcomes. The evolution in medical practice, I think it's been there a long time. I was doing a lot of research on there. I mean, there were models way back, but it's rapidly evolved in your simple data analysis tools for advanced systems, including clinical decision making. I mean, I don't know what that looks like because I'm not making clinical decisions using it, but personalized treatment plans, that is definitely true. You'll see what that looks like, and automated administrative tasks. Another thing that I just want to mention, and I don't know if you guys have any experience with your own providers using AI, but I do. My rheumatologist uses it. And at first I thought it was like, okay, it's kind of interesting, but she is a referral source of mine. Her notes are really solid. So I think that has been a helpful thing. So if you want to comment in the chat area, if any of your providers are using it, that'd be interesting. All right, so next slide. Okay, so the importance of accurate medical charting. We know if you didn't chart it, it didn't happen. So the benefits of precise charting for patient care is that your medical records are accurate. And it's helpful because if somebody else is picking up the care of your patient, you want it to be seamless. I mean, maybe in our practices, we're not always sharing patients, but it's not like that in other practices or, maybe primary care. So the continuity continuity of care, reducing the risk of errors, and enabling effective communication. Super helpful. So challenges of traditional charting. I mean, a lot of times, I know, Amy was paper-based. She admits, kind of taken a bit before getting possibly to digital EMR, but people still do, paper-based stuff. But handwriting issues, maybe it's not clear enough, or you're getting audited. Now you have to put things on a digital sense, prone to human error, traditional chartings, and time consuming. And it may lead to inconsistent documentation. I know my charting wasn't looking that great. It's not bad. I definitely was better clinician than I am documenter. So key features of some of the AI charting software. Again, I'm not talking about a specific one here, although we will be showing you a specific one. We use the same one, but some of the key features in some of these products, data extraction. So, you'll be having a conversation, and what the benefit is it removes a lot of the chit chat that you have behind the scenes. I like to be personal with people and find out about this and that, just good at establishing rapport. These notes will take, the AI, it will extract the data and leave the bullshit behind. And that's what I like about it. So like we're saying, software automates the extraction and entry of patient data, reducing the time spent on documentation and minimizing risk of error. Of course, I call it the AI may hear something that is not accurate. So you still need to be looking at everything. You can't rely on it 1000%. Voice recognition and transcription. So advanced voice recognition technology allows healthcare providers, you can dictate notes directly into the system. And Patrick has a good example of that, and we'll get to that later, which are then accurately transcribed into the patient's medical record. But our stuff they're not, what's the word? Speaking to each other at this point. So you have to copy and then paste, which I really don't mind. We'll get into that. Enhanced accuracy and consistency. So the reduction of human errors. So charting with AI systems really reduces the likelihood of, human errors by automating your data entry and standardizing information across your patient records. Standardization of medical records by ensuring that your data is entered in a consistent format. The AI systems help to maintain uniformity. That's really what's helpful for you to be picking up where you left off and knowing which part of your note to look at. It's just nice and uniform. It looks good. If you're sending your notes out, it's good for yourself. It's good for your team. And sharing information just becomes a lot easier, even for the patient, where you can have a summary given to them of the visit through the AI. So we'll talk about that too. Time and cost efficiency. So streamlining your documentation process. This is hands down one of the best parts I like about this feature. So streamlining the documentation process by automating, say, repetitive tasks. I'm not really using it for repetitive tasks, but I guess just more like note-taking, but reduced administrative workload. Now, traditionally, if you're doing your own medical billing too, you've got to see the patient, do your charting, do your billing. These things can be very time consuming, but by reducing some of the time that this data entry allows you to, and your record keeping, it just lowers your administrative burden and it increases your cost because you're able to mentally free up your space. And I don't know, I just feel like for me, it's being a better provider and spending more time with the patient and less time typing and writing and all that stuff. So improved outcomes. So how, timely and informed decision-making. So AI can facilitate faster decision-making by providing real-time access to patient data and predictive analytics, allowing for more informed treatment decisions. I don't see that in what I'm doing necessarily, but I just feel like, I have a case where I was having conversation, and I can show you this note in the system about something, and it turns out this client was seeing me for pancreatitis and something else, and the system I'm using suggested, nutrition therapy for the pancreatitis, and just kind of wrote that as a note. So you can really like dive a bit deeper in some of the topics that you might already be working on I mean, obviously that's an important one, but maybe you didn't pick up, but the AI system heard that and thought that that's something to take to a next level, which I think is really neat. Personalized patient care plans. This is awesome. So, it can help you create care plans or whatever you want to call them, parts of your note that are really tailored to the individual needs. So at the end of, and this I adopted from Maya, I do need to put this out there. Maybe back in May, early May, I'm part of a mastermind group with Maya and a few other amazing people here in Amy's group. And she was like, oh yeah, I started using this program, blah, blah, blah. If like 5 minutes into it, I'm like, okay, I'm in. I used it for maybe 1 hour that following Monday, signed up for the pro plan by the end of the day, because I was like, okay, this is really something amazing. Anyway, and we'll talk about templates in a second. Maya had added something to the end of her note, like an update, and hands down, any template I use, that blurb goes into it. So I really like that. I don't send it out to the patient every time, but it really makes it look like, wow, my dietitian is really listening to me and, having some interesting things. Choosing the right software. There's a ton of options out there. I use Practice Better, and I know Practice Better has an AI tool in there. I haven't used it. I haven't used it because when it first came out, I didn't really like the price structure, and I didn't think you can use it outside of like the video feature. And I don't use their video feature. I use the HIPAA compliant Zoom. So not an early adopter to the things that Practice Better releases. So you need to compare the different solutions. Okay, so when selecting AI software, it's important to compare the options based on features, user friendliness, whatever's important to you. There's a lot of solutions, so focusing on just what sits best for you. My first go at this was a company called Otter, and it's cheap, and it was so much work that I had to do after the visit. I decided that this is not worth my time. I do not like this. It's causing more work burden on me. I stopped using it. So that was earlier in the year, or maybe the end of last year. And then when I got shown the HEIDI health system, that was what I was really looking for and didn't know it existed. So for me, I'm literally looking to cut down the burden, but you have to see what's good for you. The key features, scalability, if that's something that you're looking for, compatibility, user friendliness, a lot of things that you can take into consideration and what's important for you. Okay. Also price too, of course. Data privacy. A lot of times we see on the public Facebook groups, oh, I don't want to use HI charting. Oh, HIPAA and this and that. Sure, we are bound to, being compliant for safety and whatnot. AI systems must comply with strict healthcare regulations, such as HIPAA. A lot of these products are born in different countries, so they may have different requirements, and it's really important to understand what their security is on the back end, so you're not doing something that's helping you but hurting your practice and putting people's information at risk. Okay, protecting patient data. They have to have advanced encryption, security protocols are really important to do. Okay, so this way they can not have any issues with breaches and whatnot. I mean, everything seems these days to get breached in some way, shape, or form, which is really, really sucks. But, you really want to set yourself up for choosing a system that takes these things into consideration. Technical and operational challenges. All right. So you have a team of people, you're going to roll this out. I mean, you have your 1099s. They certainly don't need to use that if they don't want to, but you have your W-2 employees, and this is what's going to take place, and you're implementing it. So people are going to have resistance and skepticism about any type of technology, especially with something like this that they don't understand. So I think it's the most important thing is to train people and, answer the questions and find out what they're most concerned about. Because if it's, security breaches and, just kind of helping your team understand what it is that you're doing and why and how it can help them. Overcoming technical integration issues. I mean, if you're in a healthcare system and you're in systems like Epic or whatever, there's a lot of back of the house IT. I don't get involved with that, but I do not have a problem copying my note and then pasting it into my practice better. It works fine for me. It's, the system has kind of learned my ways of doing things. It is, I say born, was created by people in Europe. So occasionally the dates will be flipped. They do day, first, month, and then year, plus some of the spellings, like the word color, they'll put a U in there. So, it's not doing that as much anymore. Case studies. All right. So this is where we kind of want to go through, show you what's going on in our world, real life examples, okay, and measurable improvements. I mean, I can't give you numbers, but I can tell you, like, my mindset and my quality of my visits and my personal time feels better. So, that to me is priceless. So what we can't do is show you how we pluck the notes from HEIDI Health and put them into our EMR, because this is being recorded and our EMRs have PHI in there. So, but the way I have my HEIDI set up, there's first names, but there's no other information. So I'm fine to, share that. Maya and I have talked about that. So we are going to do a little kind of walkthrough of some features. Let me just escape on here. Let's see. Okay. And give me one second. I just wanted to, there's templates and stuff. We're going to kind of go through that, but I have to show you this funny clip because I like humor a lot. Let me just see. Give me one second. Can you guys see this YouTube?
Not yet. So what you might have to do is unshare and then reshare again.
Okay.
So stop yes, and then
Perfect.
go click on. Sometimes it's tricky. I always do the same thing, and I'll talk for like 20 minutes, and people are like, I can't see what.
Like, I don't know what you're talking about. Okay, because this is really, it's like 30 seconds. So you just have to see this, and I'll tell you why I'm showing this. Okay, this is Sebastian Maniscalco. He's just really funny. So
customer service, because I handle in my house all the hookups, internet, whatever we need, gas. I do all that. Got on the phone with the cable people, right? I don't know if you ever try hook up cable over the phone with these people. There's a pre-recorded message that says, we're going to monitor the call for quality assurance, right? So as soon as I get a live operator, I tell them, just so you know, I'm recording the call on my end too, okay? You got me, I got you. Behave.
Okay. So I showed that because, again, Patrick, trainer, who's awesome. I love this guy. He's on the call too. He was using it to call an insurance company. And I was like, I don't know if he knows this comic, but I'm sending it to him. And, he's been doing things amazing with it. We had a chat, I don't know, a couple months ago, and we just, it's kind of like what Maya did, but like, I was just like, I'm in. So, so yeah, we can go through our systems a little bit and kind of show you. So Maya, did you want to start with going through yours? I don't remember how we set it up, and then,
Can do. I've got a screen pulled up and ready. So
awesome.
Let's hit share. And we're going to do desktop number 2. Ready? Okay. Can we see it?
Yep, we're good.
Okay. First names are good. So, so this is I chose HEIDI. HEIDI is up here. It's like a female name, HEIDI. There's clearly other ones out there. I just chose HEIDI in the very, very, very beginning of all things. I went in and signed up for all of the free trials, 2-week trials, 3 days trials, 1 month trials, signed up for all the trials, and I just trialed them all in our practice. So when you come to a session, basically, in terms of HEIDI, I don't know the other ones, but in terms of HEIDI, it's as simple as clicking on new session here, and it prompts you obviously for recording, and I can click off of this. So during a session, you've got the feature of being able to, this is literally going to record the screen, right? Or excuse me, it's going to record the audio with the patient in the room. So the transcribe button, I do know that in part of our mastermind group there, you do have a feature called Dictate. And Dictate is, I don't know how to go off of this, but Dictate ultimately is you can verbalize something. So another use case would be if a patient needs a documentation or a letter, they're trying to get a Ozempic or a GLP or something like that covered, and we just have to send a document. You can speak into this and it will spit out a note according to, hey, why is this medically necessary for coming from the dietitian? And it'll spit out like referral notes or anything else that you need as well. So we're going to, so smart dictation versus word for word. Let me just hit save that. Okay. So we're going to stay on transcribe. So I show you how to use it the most here. I'm going to click off of this. Now, I typically just put the patient name here. Jane, I don't put her last name, but because all of the sessions over here are saved on this side. And then the moment the patient walks in this session, I do click start transcribing. For purposes of when Amy had done our, when we had gone through charting and compliance, this does give you the exact length of the session right here. So I actually click on start transcribing. I'll go ahead and do that right now. So, oops, I clicked too quickly. Resume. There we go. So it's actually, you can see that it's recording my voice right now based on these, and you can change the audio settings. And then it's actually going to keep an exact time frame of the session. And for note and charting compliance purposes, on this side, it is nice because you can see the time that the patient started. So you've got both of those, and then you can go ahead and fill in the blanks from there. So once we have this piece, when you hit after the session, you click stop transcribing, and you'll see it's actually going to start spitting out the note according to the template right now, but there is nothing here because we didn't go over everything. But what it is pulling, which I'm happy to share with you, is there's a template. So these templates in here, there's a list of templates. When you sign up for something, it'll probably ask you if you're a dietitian or a doctor, etc. Some AI platforms are they're more designed for like medical in general. I have noticed that some HEIDI, in my experience, I could be wrong because I haven't shopped around anymore, was more malleable and flexible for me to create my own note around, while some AI tools are more geared towards physicians. I could be completely wrong. That was my experience when I was shopping. So I'll show you the, you should be able to see, did you flip over? You can see my Word document.
Yep, you're good.
This is the follow-up note that we created. So a lot of this, I'm in the same program with Amy that all of you are. So everything that I've used from her is in the compliance of what needs to go into the note. So these are little details that you learn with AI. And both Kim and I have our HEIDI links here. I do believe you get Pro free for 30 days to try it with our HEIDI links. So we'll definitely share those. This follow-up template, I won't go through the whole thing, but this is the follow-up note itself. So in brackets, this is what I'm telling AI to do: be as detailed as possible, use scientific and factual language, use college level education and writing. Then we split it into progress updates, progress update and obstacles section, and then a solutions, interventions, and education section. And all I'm doing in the brackets is telling AI what to include in these areas. And then the quotations are exact. So AI is going to dump this into the very, very first line. And then I do have a very rough outline right here for the initial consult, but I do go in there and redo a lot of that. something that Kim was talking about at the end of the note, and I'll show you what it spits out. At the very end of the note, we do put in here, update note to patient. Please write a sample letter to the patient from the dietitian with a recap of education and action items. And we copy and paste this and pop it right into their portal. So this is what Kim was talking about, to be able to pop this to the patient. So let me actually show you what this looks like with a patient when the dictation is complete. So, or the transcribing, excuse me, that's the wrong language. So the progress update and obstacle, this is after the session, what it spit out. So here is the one line, patient is present for follow-up on next step goals and reassessment and nutrition plan. And then this is our update and obstacles section. And then it went into solutions, interventions, and education. Just as Kim had mentioned, when I train my RDs, like while this can be a copy paste, it cannot be a copy paste, sign the note. You have to go through it because there can be incorrect numbers, there can be incorrect information. So they know, clearly you all know, you're smart and educated. You can't copy paste this and just call it a day. Here's the update portion at the very end, which I find extremely helpful because I actually use it as a recap for my brain. So when I go to the next session with the patient, all I have to do is read these items right here, and I know exactly where we left off. So it does say, hey, Karen, great work on implementing your changes. Here's the education points. Here's the action items. Keep up the great work. See you at your next visit. So it writes this, and then I dump this in our EMR messaging section. So a couple things for purposes strictly of HEIDI on this is this template note up here. If I wanted to, I'm going to show you a different one because I actually need to complete her note. So I'm going to go down this one. So these notes, you can toggle between them. So if this was an initial, I can click on initial consult, which I will do, and it will flip the template over. The detailed voice, you can play with this. So brief is very, very brief and will likely just give you bullet points. Goldilocks is Goldilocks, just right. I find detailed is just right. I do find super detailed gives you exact quotations from the patient, which honestly can be a lot sometimes. And I'll click some of these. I do find for dietitians, this is new that HEIDI started doing with the brain hemispheres. I'm not sure that I fully understand all of this, but I do know that for coaching purposes, the right brain choice tends to be a better one, whereas possibly the left brain choice, if I'm having to take an educated guess here, might be better for something like a physician or a quick note. But the right brain captures more motivational interviewing, behavior change, those pieces. If I ever wanted to re-spit out the note because something on rare occasion, it will do something very weird that does not exist. So it just won't produce something meaningful at all. So I click on regenerate output, and this note is in here. So it's literally going to regenerate the entire note and rewrite it. And this is exactly what happens when you click on this button over here and the session is over, is it's literally writing your note just like it's doing right now. Sometimes between sessions, I have to have two HEIDI platforms open because this can take a second if you're back to back with patients. And then you can click on these and then change your note there as well. So Kim, is there anything overview I'm missing?
No, I mean, there's certainly, you could also, if you clicked on once it's finished documenting, spitting it out. If you're back to back, what I've done, I will just hit new session and it stops it in midway. It doesn't delete it. It's still there. You're just going to have to go and generate it. Also, let's see. So you could say create a document. So I was talking about the pancreatitis person, or I do a lot of surgical weight loss. So it kind of knows what I do now. So if I took create document, it could say, create a document for a bariatric follow-up, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, oh, that sounds good. So I'll do it. And then it sucks. So I'm like, okay, delete it. Or you could, on the bottom where it says ask HEIDI to do anything, you could say, send a referral, a brief referral, a letter to the referring provider based on this visit. in simple form. So you can just continue to drill it down. And as long as you don't as long as you don't delete the session, you can continue to update this as long as you want. That's why I keep them on there, because this left brain, right brain thing, this is a new feature, and the company's really good about sending out release notes. So also there's now a community. So anybody who's sharing templates, who's using this worldwide, you can see them if they put them up for share. So that's kind of nice. I found one note. It looked like it might have been like eating disorder kind of dietitian, because the things in there weren't, they weren't my speed. It was interesting. And then you have your template library. So so you can kind of see how many times, like 481 times. So clearly Maya likes that particular template, and she can add that to her favorites. You know, you can put that one in your favorites there. So, and see how they spell the word favorite with a U. It's not a US way of spelling it, but it's cool, you know? So it makes it easy to access. So I like SOAP notes. I like traditional SOAP notes because it speaks to me. I finished my education in the 90s and we learned on SOAP, but I've taken the SOAP and I've adjusted it. It just makes so much sense to me. So everything's bulleted and it's fantastic. I also have my credentials at the bottom. Yeah, that's I don't know that one because that's a US one, but there's another one. If you change a location to everywhere, you'll see all. Yeah, there you go. There's that one. So you can just take it and apply it and then update it and change it, which I think is really cool. I've literally looked at all these different things. So say you have a note template that you really like, that you've been using in practice better, whatever. You could take an actual note of Mary Smith and put it into HEIDI here. It has an area for it, template structure. Okay, it wipes the PHI and creates a template from what you've asked it to do. You just got to clean it a little bit. So if you're like really stuck on something, it'll do it. So very interesting. And another thing that we didn't go over is, getting permission from the patient to use this. So I have it in my intake forms. I started with a separate form, like explaining AI charting and how it could reduce errors and everything like that. And then I also have a version of it where it's like embedded into my telehealth AI practice, because to have 50 million things, it just is easier. So like my exact setup, what I'm speaking on here is a Microsoft Surface laptop because I like the camera on it. And so I use that, I push that aside, use that, and then my desktop doesn't have a camera, but it has. So here's my recording device. This is a blue Snowball. It's just the company blue. It's obviously black, but I have one in white as well. It's an excellent, excellent recording device. And when I'm on the phone, I just kind of put them next to each other. So I'll just, it just kind of picks up. Sometimes if I want HEIDI to say certain things or want it to be in the note, I will vocalize it specifically because I know the reason why I'm saying it is because I want it spelled out in there. You can always add stuff too, like status post gastric bypass, 9/11/2024 with Dr. Smith, and it'll pick up in the note too. So you can add things you want in the note, but if you vocalize it, like I like to look at their progress. Okay, wow, you started 350 pounds with a BMI of 65. You've lost 150 pounds and now your BMI is this. I say it for two reasons. One, it sounds good to the patient to look at all that. And two, I know that HEIDI will pick up on it and do the notes really nice. So that's another way, that will kind of use that and just kind of manipulate it in the favor that you want it to be written as. So, like I said, you can dictate, you can record, you can, they keep updating it. In the 4 months I've used it, the UI, the user interface has changed multiple times. And I just keep reading stuff because I didn't understand, if we kind of take a look at, let's see, where is it? The templates, hold on, let me see here. Whoops. Can you see my screen?
Yep.
So you kind of take a look, and the nice thing is I wanted to show you this, you know, say apparently, let's see, you can type in and find Jessica. Well, I have 16 visits by Jessica. I know a lot of them are the same person because they're doing an Aetna thing with bariatrics, but I can just go, you know, this is the latest soap note on, this is what it looks like for me. I like bullets like that, you know. I tend to go detailed, and I tend to go with right brain. I like the way that looks. I like the way it sounds. It's simple, it's clean. So again, the assessment and plan, one, morbid obesity, bang, 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 you know, and then that is all it took from that note. And I put these in here. Always put my credentials. I know it's in my other note and the update to the patient. Hi, Jessica. Great work on your progress. Here's a quick recap of our visit, blah, blah, blah. So it's just, and then I just copy that and plunk it in there. You know, you can integrate, you can do integrations too. You know, so what kind of questions you guys have, you know, anything coming up in there that we can show you? Or I mean, like I said, it's
You're good. The only last thing I'll add from Kim from the two last quick notes is one, when I signed up for HEIDI, is I was evolving the note over time. When it would spit something out, I would go back to the template and massage the template until I got the output that I wanted. And if there's one thing I know for sure with AI, of which I am nowhere near an expert, is the outputs are only as good as the inputs. And so as you continue to use AI to whatever capacity, even if it's Chat GPT for meal planning, it's still going to be massage the inputs, and you'll continue to get better outputs. And so it does require massaging. It's not going to be the perfect the first time. But really what Kim and I kind of want to gift to Amy's community is like, after spending 2 hours chart noting the next day, it's down to 15 minutes. It's mind blowing and amazing, and saved us so much time. So while it is it's a cost of goods sold in QuickBooks, I believe it's worth it.
And then the first question was from Jen. Do you just copy and paste into your EMR the note?
We do copy and paste and then massage it from there and create the note in the EMR. So I know HEIDI, I don't know about other ones. They are working on further integrations. In my brain, there's bigger fish to fry. I'm happy to copy and paste. So we do copy and paste that.
Yes, we do too. And sometimes I'll clean it in HEIDI. Like, remember, if you're going to do another spin-off of that, you've got to clean it in HEIDI first. Otherwise, I have a doctor with a funny last name, and it never spells this right, no matter what I do. So if I need to send something to him specifically, I change it in there and then adjust the note. Just like Maya's saying, it's only as good as you are giving the direction. And I have gotten better with AI stuff as I've been using this, because it's helping you think a little bit differently. You're not asking it to do any work for you. You're asking it to make your work that much better. So when I'm on the visit, I am looking in the camera at the person and I am engaged. I'm having more fun with it. I'm less drained at the end of the day. I love it, you know.
Christine asks, are you guys, and I know the answer to this, but are you guys using it in person as well as for telehealth? Does it work the same? And do you have to have a microphone? External microphone.
External microphone. We use it the same thing, click the same. I know that Kim uses external microphone. We do not. I use the microphone on our Mac computers and it dictates just fine. So it is all connected to the internet. So if your internet goes out or there's something that happens, we're going back to our old-fashioned handwriting.
But let's piggyback on that. Okay, that is true, but it's not true. Okay, you can find a way to record the conversation on another device and then upload the MP3 into HEIDI, and boom, you get the whole thing. I had that. I was like, oh my God, I don't know what to do with myself. I don't even know how to have the visit. It was almost crippling. So I went back to Otter and I launched Otter because I have it on my phone. I'm like, I'm just going to record. I'm going to see what happens. And then I uploaded it. Totally fine. So you got backup. You don't want to sit there and put it on your iPhone. Again, you're not being like, what's your date of birth? What's your social security number? What's your address? You know, like you want to be very respectful of like what you're speaking of. So if it's recorded on something, it's maybe possibly sketchy, you're prepared for that. When I did it in person, I'll see many in person, I just used the laptop I'm on and it was fine, no microphone. Because it's weird being like, oh, what was that? You know, like it's, you don't want to be with this weird
Like karaoke. It's like karaoke. I have one of those microphones. I don't even know why. I think I got it when I was like recording courses, but I can't use it because I feel like I'm on like a talk show. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I feel like I'm like on like the Late Show, like with Jimmy. I laugh too much. I don't know. Maybe I just laugh at everything in
I mean,
life.
it's just like in the, like if you see the way I guess
Yeah.
it's set up, it's just kind of sitting there,
Yeah.
you know, like here. So it's so in the background, you know, I don't really even.
Yeah, no, totally. No. I totally agree. I think I'm just like a weirdo. Treva had some questions or some things to add.
So I've been using it because of Maya and Kim. So I love, love, love it. It's changed my life. I wanted to just say I put a little thing in there that I don't use a microphone, and even if people are really quiet, or they have accents, it's actually been really, really good at. I'm like, oh, I'm gonna see what happens here because this person's accent is really strong, and it's done an amazing job. So I've been really surprised by that. I have one thing I want to add and one thing to ask. One thing is that you, in that little AI chat box, you can put stuff like, when I first started, it would do weird stuff like, just like the way it would word it, like RD says this, and like, so you can go back and say, remove the word dietitian and just have it start with the verb. And, you know, you can go back and instruct it to change things when they're wonky. And I was wondering, Kim and Maya, you know, I did the thing yesterday or the other day when I had it write me a letter for insurance, and it turned out amazing. But I'm also wondering if you guys have played with it, or maybe other people on this call, some other use cases in that little AI chat box for other things that you've done besides just notes. I am recording this right now in it, and I will use it to summarize key points. So I use it like in business meetings sometimes too, because I find it better than my Otter AI. I think Otter AI sucks compared to this. But what other use cases have you guys come up with? I'm just wondering, and go out to the whole group too.
I was talking to somebody about a business thing as a referral source. These kind of guys go a little sketchola. So, but I did use it for that. And I was like, it gave me an opportunity to really look at what was discussed. And I'm like, oh shit, yeah, I forgot about that. Like it was just more things that are discussed that you're not focusing on because you're thinking about other things. So to me, that like any kind of meeting or something in that realm, I think is super helpful, you know? So that's what I used it.
Yeah, I use it for like business meetings all the time. And I'll say, like, can you make an outline of that? Or what were the key points that we're supposed to do there? You know, I'm trying to create a premium program. What were the key things of the key elements of the premium program that was discussed? So I'll use it for lots of different things like that. I guess I'm just scratching the surface. If other people have ideas, love to hear them.
Yeah, I mean, I'll throw out the idea that a lot of you guys know is like, you know, so it's like I have a questionable employee, and Kim and I were talking about this, is that, you know, and when the patients call to complain about her, you know, obviously there's 50 shades of separation, right? There's always three sides to every story, but like Kim was mentioning is that like, if we were implementing that in my practice, and one of the problems I was having with the dietitian, I was like, you know, she's like, that's not how it went down. And I was like, interesting, because like, you know, she just does regular charting and intake queue. And clearly like her recommendation about using a waist trainer or whatever those things are, like that's not in there. And I said, like, you know, Kim and I were talking about like, that's a good way if you do have employees, right, to really see what's going on in the session. Because like when you type up a note, it can really be whatever you want it, you know, it's like you can make up that note as you're going along. But if it's recording it, especially if you're a practice owner like me, you know, it also removes you from having to go into the session. So one of the things we do a lot in my practice is like we shadow So like, you know, so I wouldn't have to go in and shadow that particular dietitian because it would be recorded. A lot of times we will have new dietitians counsel my in-laws, right? So like, you know what I mean? And so then so that wouldn't necessarily be necessary to have a third party to come in to assess how the dietitian did. So I think that could be a good example, just, you know, almost of supervision of any type. And even if you're working in eating disorders, right? Like that whole concept of supervision, or, you know, and you guys could probably go back in and really look at the note, the dictation, the transcription, and like provide feedback, you know, because it gives such an accurate, you know, understanding of what went on. So
I will give you a transcript, Triva. It will.
Yeah.
It does. It's always there. It's just
Yeah.
a million freaking words, you know.
So I thought that they didn't do it because of HIPAA. Where do you have access to?
Right. If you look on, let me just pull it up. Hold on. I'll share it. Okay, so if you go here, transcript. Wait, see?
Oh my gosh, like I've seen that,
right at the top here. Yeah, you gotta click context is probably any crap you put into it. Plus, there's languages. I have some people where, let me tell you, it's without their family member, it's a conversation that's not easy to deal with. So I could always, I did something, I was playing around with something and I did the patient update in Spanish. Again, there's a lot of versions of Spanish, so you know, who knows what, I'm not a Spanish speaker of any good degree. So it's hard for me to know, but yeah, there's a lot of stuff that just keeps showing up, and I'm telling you, you got to keep clicking all the time. If I'm bored, sometimes I'll just sit here now that I have more time in my day and I will go through HEIDI. Another thing too is, we're talking about,
that's why we love you, Kim, so much.
it's just
we'll let you do it all for us. You just
no,
keep
no,
Triva I just
was,
learned a ton from you guys this morning.
No, but you know, she was very like, Triva's very, in my opinion, this is just my, you know, she's very analytical. She's very like, she wants to understand the backside of it. She'd be the template. I was like, my head would fucking spin. Like, to me, soap, I'm good. And then the little thing from Maya, excellent. Notes are solid, everything like that. But I love the fact, Triva, that you want it to be, and same thing with you, Maya, you want it so specific to something that you will take it and can keep working on it. I don't want to do that. Not because it's not enough. It's not as important to me. So I just don't.
The return on your investment is either it's
Mm-hmm.
not an equal output in terms of that. Yeah.
Soap and some stuff, and then maybe a little playing around if I just get a bug about something. I got a new referral source, so I've been like making sure everything's real good. Another way, so I do a lot with bariatrics, and sometimes, you know, the BMI could fall below 35, which is going to make somebody ineligible. Now, I say things during the session that that are on the note that need to be deleted. Like, okay, if your BMI is 33 or 34, you know, you're 280 pounds, this is what I say, you probably have double-digit size jeans. So wear your size 12, 18 jeans. When you get weight, that's probably going to bring you 7 pounds up, which will make your BMI 35. I don't want that in my note. I know I said it, but that's manipulative and I delete it. So, I mean, you can have it work with you, and you just got to catch that, because I don't want to send that out.
I love that.
I mean,
just real quick, want to make mention that for Marissa, I see your question on the, that's an important question. You said can you show the language you use in your consent forms for the use of AI? If remember when you saw the screen where we had the brackets in the very beginning, and I told the HEIDI AI, like, be very specific, use scientific language to do this, you do this. Literally, if you put that in once, like, no matter how long it is, it could be pages, and that's part of your template. You're teaching it and coaching the AI to use your own language, use the consent. So the answer is yes, you can mold it to whatever you want to. You're just going to have to write it and then massage it and go from there. But you can write it in the very beginning.
And I could be wrong. Maybe she was asking like, are you guys getting verbal consent? Are you getting written consent? I don't know if that's maybe to the extent of that. Like the same way we would get confirmation for telehealth, right? We have a whatever that is.
I do it in my intake forms.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
I could be wrong. I don't know. That's how I
No, I think I read it wrong. No, we get verbal. There's a setting you can tick on and off a slider in HEIDI that says remind me and prompt me to get verbal confirmation consent from the patient every time. So it'll ding up, and once you use it, it's you just but it'll ding you to prompt you and remind you.
Love it. Love it. To be missing it. Yeah. So Nick and Patrick are using it, which is awesome.
Can I add one thing I just tried?
Yeah.
So you guys know I'm a big advocate of coaching and motivational interviewing. So I've been wanting to do this for a while. So I just put in the little box, like list all the motivational interviewing affirmations said in this session, or all the reflections, or all the summaries. And so it actually did that. So it actually knows about motivational interviewing as well. So, it would, just thinking about what you said, Amy, I'd never thought about using it for just kind of teaching new dietitians. And that's a great way to, teach. Like, let's go back and look at the affirmations you saw. Let's go back and review the reflections. So I just wanted to share that was literally the first time I did it and it worked. So I'm excited.
Absolutely.
Awesome. It's so amazing how the three of us, I mean, even so, I go back to Patrick. He used it to call an insurance company, and that's why I had that Sebastian Maniscalco thing. And I don't know if Patrick, you want to chime in on it, but I was like, oh my God, yeah, please share your experience.
Yeah. Yes, I mean, I've been using HEIDI for a lot of things. I'm on this DPG group, Behavioral Health Network, and we had meetings. People were just all over the place. I experimented with taking notes, create a little template, very easy to use. But I thought, well, what the heck? I'm in this call with this insurance. Can last for a long time. I'm just going to record it and create a template later. So it gave me the reference number, the amount of the deductible left that the patient had paid, the amount that their family needed. It gave all this detail and the reference number for the call, the agent's name, everything. So it was just amazing. And yeah, I mean, I was got an Instagram notification. There's a conference going on, got microbiota. I just, oh gosh, got to take a shower. I just let HEIDI record it. And it just got, I'm always bothering Kim. I'm just so excited.
No, I love it. I get an emails. I was like, oh my God, I love this guy. You know what I mean? Because we had a conversation about it a while ago. And
yes. Oh, and it's so easy to use. Yeah, Kim just offered to share that with me to do a little demo. And she sent me, before a meeting, you might want to just check out a free version of that. And I was so overwhelmed I couldn't do it. But okay, I've seen a client. I'm just going to try to do it. And so I did it, recorded it. And I thought, holy cow, this is amazing. And then I just couldn't contain myself with my meeting with Kim. It was just great. So yeah, thank you very much, Kim. And yeah, so I'm just using it to record meeting notes, summarize it. Our DPG group said, well, let's have Patrick take notes. So it's the best note. And I just, at the very beginning, I said, hey, does anybody mind if I use transcription software? And then people are just thinking, well, why are you even asking? It's like people don't care. And with clients, I used to just ask, at the beginning, they said, no, just you always have my permission. And I thought, then I just started just saying that at the very beginning. But now I just put it on simple practice, and as part of my consent forms, they just check it off, and I'm covered. So anyway, I'm so excited. I could just.
Yay! I love it. Yay, guys! I love it.
Nick also, he's been using it. We met some time back, and he's been using it. And, he's early in his practice, but yeah, if you want to, I know, right? I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, we can sub you out. This might be your calling. I can help create a whole business for you and sell you. I could be your pimp.
This change. I'm sorry. I just felt compelled to speak. I really apologize, and I'm sorry for being late. I was actually with a client using it. It changed like business for me. Made me much more comfortable, much more confident, because I get very I get a little, and it was maybe because of my early experience as a dietitian, and wasn't a very pleasant experience, but about details in notes and everything like that. And that email you sent out, Amy, a couple months ago for the format for the note
Yeah.
for that webinar has just been, it has changed the game for me, because that was my biggest fear, where a lot of people like are more so concerned with submitting claims or this, that, and the third. For me, it was more about missing those details, because it's just not something I've ever been very good at retaining. And the way it sums it up and keeps that narrative there too. So you can even go back and see like all the words that were actually spoken through HEIDI. It's just been an absolute game changer. And it makes me confident to see, a whole day's worth of people and not dread the charting, because I know how important that is, but it's actually a big reason I stepped away from my first business, because of the dread of it. So it's been extremely helpful, and I'm very grateful for it. And Kim,
we love you, Kim.
I got my students.
You got your students, right? And
guys,
now you got your pimp who's like now I'm gonna have to figure out the whole business plan for you.
No, these guys have been amazing with it, and we are just, again, Maya, I appreciate you doing the homework and trying these crap out for the 2 weeks. You saved me time. So honestly, it starts with our mastermind and having her just show us and share that, and I appreciate that.
We love you, Maya, trailblazer. You didn't even know you were a trailblazer.
Absolutely.
Fucking trailblazer. We love it, man. We love it.
Action born of frustration.
Yeah, but that's good though. I think that's good. I think that's a very valid point though. I think because I think historically as dietitians, at least in my experience, when I was working at Yale, right before I left, they changed over to Epic. And in my brief experience, historically, dietitians are super resistant to change. And I think sometimes more so just because like they're know-it-alls and like they're opinionated and they have no, like, it's not because the change is better or worse. They just like to stand their ground and kind of argue about stupid shit. And that's why like I love to see both you guys, because Kim is kind of more conservative, you know what I mean? Where Maya, like you guys are two very different people using it. And, so it's like, Kim's like when I think of Kim, like she is like such a rule follower, and like she's in a good way, like, you know what I mean? And so for Kim to take this and just like run with it, like she's very like, hip, you know what I mean? She's like the perfect dietitian. And Maya's just always so thoughtful, intentional, and like is always so forward thinking. So you guys are just like such a good team, and I'm so glad that, we can hopefully bring some people, onto the dark side. But yeah, and if what might be helpful is if you guys wouldn't mind, if you guys can send me, if you don't mind sharing, if somebody could just email me your template and then your code or whatever codes I can use, and then I will put those out. I'll put those under the recording. And yeah, I think this is incredible. Did anybody else have any other questions?
Hey, Amy, I was just thinking of how to make it like, because I know Maya and Kim both have referral codes, maybe having people who are like last names are A through H use Maya's, and I through Z use Kim, something like that, so they both can get like, because I know they both worked really, really hard on this.
Absolutely.
Surely this will save us, like, having other dietitians that use this. It literally makes me thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars a year. So like so valuable.
I love it.
And if you use my code, I will sit with you and go through the system as well. If you don't, I'm just so excited about it. So really, whatever, I just,
I love it. I just love it because I feel like it's like I feel like obviously I say this all the time, but like internally, like within like our squad here, it's so atypical. I mean, like I think I take it for granted that we are all sharing and paying it forward, but it's like you go into any of the public Facebook pages and people are so like protective of their shit, like everybody is competitive, but it's like I am so grateful just for like the collaborative spirit that we have, because that's as somebody who's been a dietitian for way too long, like that's just like it's such a breath of fresh air to be among you guys, because you guys are all so helpful, and yeah, that it's just so amazing, and it is so atypical, and that's the fucked up part. But Cool, man. Well, I hope everybody enjoyed. I will upload this as it transcribes. I'll share the codes. I will use Treva's suggestion. I'll put everything underneath it. And then, yeah, hopefully we'll have like, we'll come back and we'll be able to share some more like good war stories about kind of how we utilized it. Okay, guys, thank you so much. Bye, guys.
Thank you.